Good afternoon, children.
Good afternoon,
Good
ma'am.
afternoon. Good afternoon, ma'am.
We were discussing about parathyroid gland. We just started with that. And let's continue with the hormones produced by parathyroid gland and their functions. This is the fifth endocrine gland that we are discussing. And parathyroid gland, there are four glands. There are four glands which are located on the back side of thyroid gland. As you can see in the picture, one pair is present in the two lobes of thyroid gland. Already we learned that thyroid gland consists of two lobes connected together by a connective tissue known as isthmus. So in each of the lobes you can see two glands each. So total four glands are present on the back side of thyroid gland. They secrete parathyroid hormone or PTH, which is a peptide hormone. So here another picture of parathyroid glands along with the thyroid gland you can see. Now coming to the functions of parathyroid hormone. It's a
On the previous slide, can you show once more?
four glands present on the back side of thyroid gland, one pair or two each on either lobes of thyroid gland, and the hormone produced by parathyroid gland is known as PTH or parathyroid hormone, which is a peptide hormone. Categories or classifications of hormone you'll be learning towards the end of this chapter. The functions of parathyroid hormone include increasing the calcium level in the blood. So they'll promote the calcium level to increase in blood. So we even call it as hypercalcemic hormone because it will help in increasing the levels of calcium in blood. Second one, it stimulates the bone resorption or demineralization of bone. Means the calcium will get removed from the bone. The bone density gets reduced. The bone mass becomes less. So calcium will be removed from the bones. You call that situation as, or that condition is bone resorption or bone demineralization. As a result, the bone density gets reduced, bones becomes weak, and it becomes painful, like bone, like in the legs and all. As we proceed towards the middle or late ages, this will be more, and your bones, density or the mass will get reduced. It is because of the removal of calcium ions from the bones. It stimulates bone resorption or demineralization. Then it helps in reabsorption of calcium by the renal tubule, kidney tubules or nephron. You know that even though when the blood passes through the Bowman's capsule, a large amount of glomerular filtrate will be formed, but later as this glomerular filtrate passes through different regions of the kidney tubule or nephron, all the important substances along with the excess water will be reabsorbed. So calcium ions also will be reabsorbed by the renal tubules under the influence of parathyroid hormone. It also promotes the absorption of calcium from the digested food. So by all these ways, they will help in bringing the levels of calcium in the blood high. Promotes absorption of calcium from food, reabsorption of calcium from the renal tubules, and causes bone resorption or demineralization. So calcium gets removed from the bones. And in general, you can say it's a hypercalcemic hormone since it is bringing about an increase in the level of calcium present in blood. And we have already learned about thyrocalcitonin. produced by thyroid gland. So these two hormones, parathyroid hormone and thyrocalcitonin, together helps in, thyrocalcitonin is helping to lower the calcium levels, whereas this one helps in increasing the calcium levels. So together they'll bring about calcium balance in our body. Any doubts? Okay. So which are the two hormones which will help in bringing about calcium, the maintenance of calcium levels in blood? Which are the two hormones? Anybody?
Thyrocalcitonin.
Thyrocalcitonin and
Parathyroid.
parathyroid hormone. So together they will help in maintaining the blood calcium levels. Now moving on to the sixth one, thymus gland. Location of thymus gland, you can see in the figure given. It is located on the dorsal side of the heart and aorta, and it secretes a group of hormones. So we call it as thymosin. So several types are there. So it is also a type of peptide hormone. I told towards the end of the chapter, the categorization of hormones you'll be learning. And thymus gland produces a group of hormones which you call as thymosins, which are peptide hormones. Now, the functions performed by thymosins: differentiation of T lymphocytes. You know, lymphocytes are a type of white blood cells which play a very important role in providing immunity. It's an important part, or it plays an important role in resisting infections. There are B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. So about B lymphocytes you will learn later. T lymphocytes got the name T lymphocytes. The T stands for thymus gland because the maturation of these lymphocytes is taking place in the thymus gland. Hence the name T lymphocytes. So differentiation of T lymphocytes takes place in thymus gland, and the role of the T lymphocytes is to provide immunity, cell mediated immunity. The immunity brought about with the help of these cells. T lymphocytes are white blood cells. So since this immunity is brought about by these cells, you call it as cell mediated immunity. And thymosins also helps in promoting the production of antibodies. You know that antibodies also play an important role in providing immunity or in resisting diseases. In response to any foreign particle entering your body, you know, your immune system will release antibodies, the soldiers of a body, and they will fight against infection. So antibodies, the production of antibodies is also under the influence of the hormones produced by thymus gland. But this immunity brought about with the help of antibodies you call as humoral immunity. Humor, the word meaning is body fluid. And antibodies are present in the plasma. So we call it as humoral immunity. Immunity brought about with the help of antibodies is known as humoral immunity. So thymosins, they are responsible for bringing about cell-mediated immunity via T lymphocytes and humoral immunity via antibodies. Okay. So there are, when you see each endocrine gland and its function, it seems to be very easy. But when all these are revised or completed and then you try to recollect, then it can be a very tedious task. So you should be thorough. And as I always used to say, when you have so many such terms to recollect, then the easy method is to make some mnemonics so that you will not get confused. As I told you in the case of thyrocalcitonin, from the term itself you can relate thyroid gland is producing calcitonin. It's having a role in maintaining the calcium level. So make your own some tips and tricks so that you won't get confused. Very easy chapter, means to understand the points, it's very easy. But the difficult part is in recollecting it. So try to learn it the same day itself and make some tips or tricks or mnemonics to recollect and remember it easily. Otherwise, it's definitely, it is for sure that you will forget all these points. You get confused between which hormone from which gland. But some majority of the hormones, their name is rhyming with or similar to the endocrine gland which produces it. Now, functions can be difficult to remember. So please make a sincere effort to make some mnemonics to remember all these. Thymus gland will get degenerated in old individuals. So I told you that the thymus gland plays a very important role in the differentiation and maturation of T lymphocyte. So by the time they reach the middle age, or by the time they reach, or before they reach the old age, the ND lymphocytes necessary will be already produced. And as they grow older, the thymus gland becomes smaller and smaller, and finally it gets degenerated, and the production of thymosin also will decrease. And that is why we say that the immunity power of old people is weak. So in the present scenario also, you know that old people, they are given warning that they should not spend time outside. Everyone is under risk, but still old people are advised never to go out, so that they'll be safe from all the diseases including COVID-19. So as the age increases, the immunity power also diminishes. One reason for that is the degeneration of the thymus gland as we grow older. So as the degeneration takes place, its efficiency gets reduced, the hormones produced will be less, and the immunity power also becomes weak. Now moving on to the seventh endocrine gland, adrenal gland. See, on the top of the kidney, you can see the adrenal gland shown in yellow color. Okay. And adrenal gland, a cross section is shown. We already discussed in the previous class, in the last, I think yesterday's class, I told you about cortex and medulla, inner medulla and outer cortex. Adrenal gland, just like kidney, their but this structure also, or their body, can be differentiated into two parts, that is medulla, outer cortex, and inner medulla. And adrenal cortex as well as adrenal medulla both will produce hormones with specific functions. So once again, adrenal gland is found attached to the upper part of each kidney, and adrenal gland can be differentiated into two parts, outer cortex and inner medulla. Adrenal cortex, it has got 3 layers. As you can see in the picture, there are 3 layers for the adrenal cortex. It includes zona reticularis, it is the innermost layer. See the figure. Zona reticularis, zona fasciculata, zona glomerulosa. These are the 3 regions, 3 layers of adrenal cortex. Adrenal gland can be differentiated into outer cortex and inner medulla. Outer cortex is further differentiated into zona glomerulosa, the outermost layer, middle zona fasciculata, inner zona reticularis. And it produces corticoid hormones. Cortex produce corticoid hormones. Adrenal cortex produces corticoid hormones. So that you can relate the words cortex and corticoid, you can relate. Cortex produces corticoid hormones, glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, androgenic corticoids. So these are the different types of corticoid hormones. And glucocorticoids, the main one, is a group of hormones. The main one is cortisol. Adrenal gland can be differentiated into two major regions, adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Adrenal cortex has got three layers: inner zona reticularis, middle zona fasciculata, outer zona glomerulosa. And the adrenal cortex produces three types of hormones, and you call it as corticoid hormones. Three types: glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, and androgenic corticoids.
Ma'am,
Yes.
is androgenic corticoids one word?
Yes. Okay, quickly summarize. Starting with parathyroid hormone. Give me the functions of parathyroid hormone. Punya.
Increases calcium concentration in the blood. Um, it stimulates bone
Resorption.
resorption,
Ah.
and absorption of calcium from digested food.
And also, it promotes absorption of calcium by which tubule? Renal tubules.
Tubule.
So by all these means, they will help in maintaining the blood calcium levels. So along with another hormone, they maintains a balance of calcium in blood. So which is the other hormone, Malavika? Which helps in maintaining calcium levels?
Thyrocalcitonin.
Thyrocalcitonin, produced by the thyroid gland. Then about thymus gland, what are the functions of thymus, thymosins produced by thymus gland? Anna?
It produces antibodies for humoral immunity.
That bring about humoral immunity. And it also is a site of differentiation, means the thymus gland is a site of differentiation of which cells?
T lymphocytes.
T lymphocytes. So these thymosins will help in the differentiation of T lymphocytes, which will bring about cell-mediated immunity. And I told you that the immunity or immune responses of old people is less, or it is immune responses are weak in old people when compared to young people. What is the reason for that, Sania?
So, thymus is degenerated in the old people.
Thymus gland gets degenerated. Actually, in small children, they will be of the maximum size. But once you have reached puberty, from the time of puberty, this will keep on getting, or you can say it shrinks. It will keep on shrinking and gets replaced by fat. And by the time you reach old age, very little will be left. And that is why the immunity power is less in old people. In small children, it will be very active, and by the time you reach the puberty stage, once you reach the puberty stage, from there it will start reducing in size. And in old people, it will be completely almost degenerated, and hence their immunity power is much lesser than that of younger ones. Okay. After that, we discussed about adrenal gland. Which are the two parts of adrenal gland, Rijas?
Adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla.
Okay. And which are the three layers of adrenal cortex, Michael? Michael?
reticularis,
Can I see you?
zona reticularis, zona fasciculata, and zona glomerulosa.
You are good at reading, but now without reading, you say, without referring anywhere.
Zona reticularis, zona glomerulosa, and zona fasciculata.
Where are they present? Inner, outer, that you did not say. Which one is the middle layer?
Oh,
Ingy, pingy,
zona
pongy.
reticularis is the outer layer.
Middle layer, I asked.
Oh, the zona fasciculata is the middle layer.
Which are the different corticoid hormones produced by adrenal cortex? Lydia? Lydia is not there? Thinking?
Androgenic corticoids, glucocorticoids, and mineralocorticoids.
Okay. Correct. Okay, starting with the first one, glucocorticoids, mainly cortisol. It's a group of hormones, and the main one is cortisol. These hormones are involved in carbohydrate metabolism. It stimulates gluconeogenesis, lipolysis, proteolysis. So it will carry out, or it is involved in carbohydrate metabolism, brings about gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis means formation of glucose from non-carbohydrate substrates. When non-carbohydrate substrates are used for the synthesis of glucose, you call it as gluconeogenesis. The lipolysis, lysis means hydrolysis, breaking down. Lipid, breaking down of lipids. Lipo stands for lipids, lysis, breaking down. What are formed when lipid is broken down? When fats are broken down, what are the products formed? Simple units of lipids or fats. What are the final products of digestion of fats? From lower class, you're learning in small intestine, when digestion is completed, carbohydrates will break down into dash, fats will break down into dash and dash, proteins will break down into dash. Simplest unit of proteins are nobody? Amino acids, whereas fats, dash and dash.
Fatty acid and glycerol.
Fatty acids and glycerol. So lipolysis means breaking down of lipids into fatty acids and glycerol. Proteolysis, breaking down of proteins into amino acids. It will inhibit cellular uptake and utilization of amino acids. It will prevent the uptake and utilization of amino acids, maintains cardiovascular system, kidney functions, and cortisol, specifically cortisol, will stimulate the production of RBCs. Then produces anti-inflammatory reactions. Hope you know what is meant by inflammation. Inflammation takes place as part of your immune responses. So when any foreign particle enters your body, your immune system will recruit some cells to the affected area, which will produce some local or general effects like fever, or local effects such as pain or swelling in that area. So inflammation takes place as part of immune response, as part of immune reaction in response to any foreign particle entering your body. But this particular hormone or group of hormones will suppress the immune response and brings about anti-inflammatory reaction. Inflammation takes place as part of immune responses, but they bring about anti-inflammatory reactions and suppresses immune response. So once again, I will tell you, the glucocorticoids produced by adrenal cortex carry out several functions. They are involved in the metabolism of carbohydrate, brings about gluconeogenesis, lipolysis, proteolysis. They will prevent the uptake and utilization of amino acids by cells. Then they will help in the proper functioning of cardiovascular and kidneys, cardiovascular system as well as your kidneys. And cortisol will stimulate the production of red blood cells, and they bring about anti-inflammatory reactions and suppress immune responses. Oh,
Can you say what is gluconeogenesis? and
gluconeogenesis means formation of or synthesis of glucose from non-carbohydrate sources or non-carbohydrate substrates. You know, carbohydrate, the simplest form is glucose, the simplest unit, or bigger carbohydrates can break down into the smallest unit known as, or the simplest unit known as glucose. But glucose can also be produced from non-carbohydrate substrates. Then you call that process as gluconeogenesis.
Okay.
Second one, mineralocorticoids. They will regulate water, electrolytic balance, osmotic pressure, blood pressure. So mineralocorticoids, they help in maintaining the balance of water and salts and maintains osmotic pressure and also blood pressure. All these are under the control of mineralocorticoids. The main glucocorticoid that we discussed was cortisol, and the main mineralocorticoid is aldosterone. Aldosterone is the main mineralocorticoid. It will help in reabsorption of sodium and water from the renal tubules and promotes excretion of potassium and phosphate ions. Okay. So once again, mineralocorticoids, they will help in maintaining water and electrolyte, the balance of electrolytes, maintains osmotic as well as blood pressure. The main one, aldosterone, is the most important mineralocorticoid, and the functions of aldosterone include excretion of potassium and phosphate ions and reabsorption of sodium and water. From where are these reabsorbed back? From the renal tubules. If it is not reabsorbed, it will be excreted along with urine. But under the influence of this particular hormone from the renal tubule, when the glomerular filtrate or the initial filtrate passes through the renal tubule, sodium, water, all these will be reabsorbed back into the bloodstream. And it also promotes excretion of potassium and phosphate ions. Androgenic corticoids. And androgenic corticoids, they play a very important role in the growth of axial hair, pubic hair, and facial hair during puberty. And you know that androgens, those are male hormones. Androgens are male hormones, and androgenic corticoids, they play a very important role in bringing about the growth of hair in the private parts, in the axial, in the armpits, then the facial hair. All that is under the influence of androgenic corticoids. deficiency of hormones of adrenal cortex. So if this point is not applicable to only androgenic corticoids, all the hormones, all the three hormones which are produced by the adrenal cortex, if there is a deficiency in any of these hormones, this can interfere with the carbohydrate metabolism. So when carbohydrate metabolism is not taking place properly, because it is the source of energy, carbohydrate molecule should be broken down, and that's a source of energy for us. And if carbohydrate metabolism is not taking place properly, that can lead to weakness and fatigue. You become so tired, and such a condition is known as Addison's disease. So any of the hormones, we discussed about different hormones produced by the adrenal cortex. When sufficient amount of these hormones are not produced, it can interfere with the metabolism of carbohydrates, and in the absence of energy, sufficient amount of energy, the person becomes so tired and experience fatigue, and you call this condition as Addison's disease. So many diseases we had already discussed: Graves' disease, Addison's disease, goiter. So all that you should be familiar, you should be thorough. Deficiency of which hormone is causing it? What are the symptoms of this particular disease? Next, we are moving on to adrenal medulla. Adrenal cortex, we finished discussing. Now we are moving on to adrenal medulla. Children, do you feel that I'm going fast? Am I going fast? You can tell. You want to reduce the pace? Or it is okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. If you want me to reduce, or if you feel that I'm going a bit fast, you can tell me. Because all these, nothing to understand much. The only thing is to recollect all these, learn all these and memorize. But easy to understand. No, it's not complicated. But the difficult part is to recollect, remember all these points. So if it is okay with you, I'm just proceeding. Adrenal medulla. Adrenal medulla produce catecholamine hormones and known as adrenaline and noradrenaline. We even call it as epinephrine and norepinephrine. You are familiar with these hormones. You have learned in class 10. You call these hormones as fight or flight hormones or emergency hormones. Because whenever you face a stressful and emergency situation, we have two options. Either you can fight and face the situation, or you can fly from there. You can escape from there. Either you will face or you will escape the situation. So to manage both, to manage such an emergency situation, certain hormones are released under stressful situation, and those hormones are known as fight or flight hormones or emergency hormones, because they help you to deal with emergency situations. And the hormones are adrenaline and noradrenaline, or epinephrine and norepinephrine. And these increase alertness, pupillary dilation, your pupil gets dilated. Piloerection. Piloerection means your hair, body hair will rise. So when you're frightened, when you're scared, the rising of hairs takes place. Your body is covered with hair that will rise up, and sweating. When you are tense, you start sweating, your heartbeat increases, your heart contraction increases, you start breathing fast. So these are some of the changes that happen when your results are out and you're checking for your results, or when the teacher is distributing the papers, or any of the emergency situation, or when you see a snake on the road, you don't know what to do. That is an emergency situation. Or when you are chased by a dog, Either you will throw stone at the dog and face the situation, or you will run away from the situation, whatever it is. When you get tensed, when you are stressed, these hormones will be released in your body, and it will help you to face the situation effectively. And once these hormones are released into the blood, some changes will be taking place in your body, like alertness will increase, the pupil of your eye will dilate, rising of the hairs present on your body known as piloerection. You start sweating, your heartbeat and breathing, respiratory rate will be increased. Stimulates the breakdown of glycogen. Glycogen is a storage form of glucose. Excess amount of glucose will be converted to glycogen and stored in your body. And as and when your body needs energy, glycogen can be converted to glucose. So, you know, you need more energy. When under emergency situations, you need more energy. So this will stimulate, these hormones will stimulate breaking down of glycogen, and hence the glucose levels in the blood will rise up to meet your energy requirements. It also helps in the breaking down or stimulates the breakdown of lipids and proteins too. Next gland is pancreas. So before I proceed to pancreas, tell me about the different hormones which are produced by adrenal cortex. Which are the three hormones produced? Glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, androgenic corticoids. We'll start with the first one. Gayatri, tell me about glucocorticoids. Two functions you can say. Any two, in any order.
It maintains the carbohydrate metabolism. Then it also controls the simulation of RBC.
Which one?
Glucocorticoids.
Specifically, we mentioned about one glucocorticoid, no, which will bring about the production of RBCs.
Cortisol.
Cortisol. Okay, Malavika, next two functions.
They produce anti-inflammatory reaction and suppress immune response.
Yes, then
They maintain cardiovascular system and kidney functions.
Sania, next two.
They help in lipolysis and proteinolysis.
Lipolysis.
And proteinolysis and gluconeogenesis.
Once again, you can just have a glance and then you repeat.
They stimulate
Gluconeogenesis.
glucogeno-
Gluconeogenesis. Now I will get confused hearing you 2-3 times. Okay, gluconeogenesis.
Gluconeogenesis, a lipidocyte.
And not only to Sania, genesis means, you know, formation. Okay, gluconeogenesis. Then lipids are breaking down. So lipolysis, proteolysis. Oh, now you say.
They help in stimulating of gluconeogenesis, lipolysis, and proteinolysis.
Proteolysis. Okay. Next function, Donna.
Utilization of amino acids, and they inhibit cellular uptake.
What? Can you repeat it once?
Utilization
When
of
you
amino
reverse,
acids.
when you reverse the sentence construction, see that you don't make mistakes in the meaning.
They inhibit cellular uptake and utilization of amino
Both
acids.
are prevented. Inhibits is common for both. So it will prevent the cellular uptake. If the cells cannot take, it cannot be utilized also. So it will prevent the cells from absorbing it and utilizing these amino acids. Okay. So I think we completed all the points. Now, mineralocorticoids, Punya.
They maintain water and electrolytic balance of the body.
Then what all pressures? Maintains osmotic pressure and
Blood pressure.
blood pressure. Which is the main Mineralocorticoid, and what are their functions? Anna?
Aldosterone.
I think you people are having difficulty in pronouncing the word also. Then think about writing the exam with all these terms. Okay, once again, nothing to worry. You read it 2 or 3 times, definitely you will get. What was that, Anna? Without looking, just repeat.
Aldosterone.
Aldosterone. And tell me the functions. 2 functions.
It stimulates the reabsorption of
Na. Na is sodium, no? At times I get confused. Na and
from renal tubules and excretion of potassium and
phosphate ions. Okay, now don't refer anywhere. Face me and answer. What are the functions? Helps in reabsorption of
sodium and water from renal tubules and excretion of potassium and phosphate ions.
Okay. And now adrenal cortex will produce another hormone known as androgenic corticoids. Now, Reen, what is the function of these hormones? Now, Reen.
It helps in the growth of axial hair, pubic hair, and facial hair during puberty.
Okay, okay. In case if there is deficiency of hormones produced by adrenal cortex, what happens? Whether when to have tea?
Alters carbohydrate metabolism.
Can I see you? Whether yes. Having tea there, teacup is there?
No.
Okay.
Carbohydrate metabolism causing acute weakness and fatigue.
Fatigue, and it will result in a disease known as
Addison's disease.
Addison's disease. Okay. I think we'll wind up here. We have hardly 5 minutes. So we'll wind up. See you next class. No doubts, no? Thank you, children.